Should you ever remove tomato flowers from the plant? If so, when is it appropriate and when is it not necessary? And secondly, does removing tomato blossoms actually give you larger fruit? We're going to talk about both of those questions in today's episode. I thought they were really good questions and we actually get them asked quite frequently. So I'll cover both those in today's episode. So let's get going. So the first question I'm going to tackle is, should you be removing tomato blossoms when the plant is young? This is a common question that comes through because a lot of people think that when their tomato plant starts blossoming, if they remove the blossoms, it's going to divert energy back to the plant and allow the plant to continue to grow. Now, this might be true with something like a young apple tree. We'll commonly go through and pick the blossoms off so that they don't set fruit too early, because that does take a lot of energy away when the trees start to set fruit. It also is true with something like strawberries. You know, it's common for someone to go through and pick the flowers off that first year when they plant strawberries, because it does send energy back down. But here's what is important to note. These are not perennials. These are annuals. And that's a big distinction that I need to make here, is because tomatoes, they grow over the course of one season. They grow and then they die. Strawberries, pears, apples, peaches, any perennial like that, the first year, its main objective is to get established. And so yes, by removing flowers, that absolutely is going to help the plant continue to get established, because it's going to send that energy elsewhere into more important stages of growth rather than setting fruit. It might seem like a novel idea to get an apple your first year or some strawberries your first year. And some people will choose to leave them on and they get a little snack, and that's great. It's a consolation prize for growing it. It's never a huge amount. But with these tomatoes here, we're not going to have them surviving the winter. They're going to die when the winter comes. And so the plants, their natural objective is to continue to grow as fast as possible. And what I find personally is in the early stages, like these are our fall planted tomatoes. We just put these in the ground. I said just, but we put these in the ground about 3 weeks ago, and they've grown exceedingly fast. Actually about 4 weeks ago, to be accurate. About 4 weeks ago, we put these in the ground. And they're just starting to blossom right now. Okay, they're loaded up with blossoms. They're looking great. The plant will not set fruit if it cannot hold on to it. That's what's so unique about these annuals, these tomatoes. Peppers are the same way. You'll find that they'll often kind of set flowers very early on. They'll set out that first flush of flowers maybe like 4 to 5 weeks into actually growing the seedling. You'll have a seedling indoors, it's looking great, and you'll set a flower. And you say, whoa, I cannot have it setting fruit right now. The thing is oftentimes those flowers are never actually, even if they get successfully pollinated, they don't usually set fruit. They'll typically fall off. And that's because the plant realizes that it's almost kind of testing the waters, if you will. It's almost saying, I wonder what would happen if I could flower. They will often inevitably just drop right off. The whole truss will just kind of shrivel and fade away. It won't actually set anything. And so by pulling those off, that's just, in my opinion, taking a lot of time that's not fully necessary. So we're here with one of our Bountylicious tomatoes that we're growing out for seed. And you'll notice this is just a beautiful bush here. Absolutely beautiful. And it's just starting to flower. Now, again, we planted this along with our other tomatoes about 4 weeks ago. We planted them out as seedlings that were about 10 inches tall or so. And they had already had a couple blossoms starting to form when we planted them out. Now, if I look back where they originally got planted, there's no fruit. Why is that? It's because it drops them off. You're going to spend so much time coming in and picking off blossoms that the plant is just going to naturally terminate anyways. I think oftentimes our knowledge of how plants operate sometimes we're correct in our knowledge of how plants operate, but we're incorrect in our actions because our knowledge is not complete. You know, we really think kind of two-dimensionally as gardeners sometimes, where we come in and we want to take action that is well-intentioning, but we end up spending a ton of extra time and resources and energy and effort and all these things that are very important resources. We take those to work on something that is ultimately going to be handled by nature anyways, naturally. So to come in here and pull these blossoms off is what a no pun intended, what a fruitless endeavor. Of the hours of time spent thinking that we are benefiting our plant, when in reality, it was going to do it anyways. It was going to drop them off, and the plant will naturally set fruit when the temperatures are right, when the age of the plant is at the right stage, when when the stress levels are not there, it's the right age, it's going to set the fruit. It's going to set it. And on top of that, it's going to set the fruit that it wants. We talk all the time about how to increase pollination, right? It might set 5 blossoms and 3 of them get pollinated and set fruit. We come in and we say, well, let's try to maximize that. And you can in certain circumstances, you absolutely can. And we will come through with a vibrating toothbrush and self-fertilize these. But we don't worry about the blossoms that fall off. We want to make sure that every truss has good fruit set. But it's unrealistic to think that every single flower is going to set fruit. It might not biologically be possible. And so even once it starts setting fruit, we don't go in and we don't try to manufacture something other than what the plant naturally would want to do. Because the plant knows so much more than we know. I can't speak plant. I know it's healthy, it's nice and green. I know that it's beautiful because I can see it's just it's green, it's bushy, it's disease-free, it is flowering, it's telling me I am happy. But I can't tell at what phase it's going to start to actually set fruit. I let it decide that. And this tomato plant, it's telling me that in the next couple weeks, we're going to have a lot of fruit. But I'm not going to come in here picking these off, expecting to get the plant larger. That's just not going to really be, it's not going to be effective, and it's not really going to be worth my effort. Next, I want to talk about the question of, should you be removing tomatoes to guarantee larger fruits? Now, there's 2 sides to this story. It's yes and no. And I know you guys hate yes and no answers because you want me to say, Luke, is it one or the other? It cannot possibly be both. But in this case, I do think it's both, and I'll explain why. So in the beginning, we want the tomatoes to set as much fruit as possible. And yes, by removing tomatoes, you are going to allocate energy because it takes a lot of energy to set this fruit here. These are beautiful, beautiful tomatoes. Secret, I can't tell you the variety because it's a secret. You have to wait till November. But these tomatoes here are beautiful. They're going to be gorgeous. But here's the issue. If there's tons of fruit, the fruit will naturally tend to be slightly smaller. But the fruit sets in stages. The tomato plant sets fruit in stages. So what you have to do is you have to actually be more concerned about the fruits up above to affect the fruits down below. It kind of happens in waves. The first fruits that form, they're going to get large and start to ripen. And at the point in which they're probably about 50% of the way through their ripening process, you're going to start to get your next flush of tomatoes. And if you're growing an indeterminate, right? So an indeterminate happens in stages. That second flush of fruit will then begin to enlarge and starts to ripen. And when these are about 50% of the way ripe, your first set of tomatoes are going to just start to ripen up. And that's about the time when you start to get your third flush of flowers. And so they happen in stages there. And so by removing flowers from up above, you are going to affect the ripening of the fruits down below. You'll affect how fast they grow, how fast they ripen, because essentially what you're doing is you're diverting energy that the plant is allocating up above to these fruits down below. That is absolutely happening. But what I like to do is I like to set most of my fruit, I like to let my tomato set most of its fruits. I don't do any pruning of flowers until later in the season. And here's why. So let's just hypothetically pretend that it's early October. We have about 25 days until our first frost. Our plants are still healthy. Our plants are still producing fruit, and they're still flowering. I know as a gardener that there's just realistically no way that the flowers are going to produce fresh fruit in that amount of time. It's just not practical. The days are, the sunlight is getting less and less as the days are getting shorter. The temperatures are cooling off because it's getting ready to turn into fall and winter. The plants are not growing at their optimum level because they've been stressed through the whole growing season. It's so unrealistic to think that a flower forming in even late September, early October is ever going to form fruit. So what do? That's where I actually will take fruit. I'll take flowers off. And what I do is I actually just take hedge trimmers, believe it or not. For this many plants, I just take hedge trimmers and I just go chop the top off. I don't worry about the foliage. I don't worry about the flowers. I take it all off. I'll just chop off that whole top of the plant. And what that's going to do is that is going to divert energy back down into ripening up and focusing on ripening and enlarging the fruits that I do have, that I have a chance of getting ripe by the end of the growing season. That's why I said it's a yes and no answer. You know, no, I don't take off flowers early on because it doesn't really affect the fruit all that much that's first forming. The plant is growing so vigorously, there's so much energy being generated that it's not really robbing much away from those lower plants. It would affect it, but affect it so marginally that you'd be sacrificing future fruit for a very, very nominal, very marginal benefit to your already formed fruit. So let's pretend you get 100 potential tomatoes, but in an effort to enlarge the ones you have by maybe 10%, you're going from a potential of 100 tomatoes down to 70 tomatoes. You're taking away 30 tomatoes to get a 10% larger tomato. I don't personally think that that's worth it. But during the end of the growing season, yes, I do. Because I want to make sure that the stuff I have no chance of getting tomatoes off of are not being prioritized when I do have a chance of getting tomatoes and good quality tomatoes from the ones that are slightly more developed. And so that's why it is a yes and a no. Now, I hope this answers your question because it is probably one of the most popular questions that comes up around blossoms. And those two questions, should I remove them early on to help the plant grow? And should I remove them to encourage more fruit production or better fruit production on my plant? And so I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you all learned something new. If you did, make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. And let me know in the comments box down below. Do you remove tomato blossoms? Have you removed them? Have you heard that removing tomato blossoms helps? Because I know that that's a very common misconception. And I know that there's a lot of people that do it. And I'm not saying you're wrong by doing it either. I just want to be clear. I'm not saying you're wrong by doing it. I'm just saying that the way that the tomato plant behaves and my observation of them and the limited research and knowledge that I've gathered from tomato plants, I feel pretty confident in that answer. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you all learned something new. And as always, this is Luke from the MIgardener channel, reminding you to grow bigger. We'll catch you guys later. See ya. Bye. Hey, thank you so much for watching today's video. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed, consider clicking this one. You'll probably enjoy it just as much. I want to thank you for your viewership because without it, this channel would not be as amazing as it is. Also, if you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing. It's free and we upload videos every Monday, Wednesday, or Friday. We also have vegetable seeds, fertilizer, or tools. If you need any of those, consider visiting MIgardener.com. Links will be in the description box below. We've got you covered. And as always, we'll see you all in the garden. Take care. Bye.